How is a go-around turned by AEW Fyter Fest review? Of course, AEW Fyter Fest aired live on Bleacher Report Live for free. Of course, this show, as well as the next show, Fyter Fest, in 2 weeks on July 13th, aired live in the United States at Bleacher Report Live for free. It's on Fight TV, I believe, elsewhere in the world. So if you're anywhere else in the United States, you're gonna have to watch it on Fight TV. But if you're in the United States, you can watch this show, like I said, as well as the next show, Fight for the Fallen, on Bleacher Report Live for free. Like I said, going on to Fyter Fest, I thought this was a great show here from AEW. Even though it's kind of more of a filler show, it definitely had purpose. It definitely furthered storylines. It definitely had some great matches. There really wasn't a bad match on the show. I know people say that, 2 of the matches in the buy-in were bad, but you know what? Those weren't that bad to me. On the main show, there wasn't a bad thing on it at all. So you can say the buy-in maybe had a bad match or two, but definitely the main card did not have a bad match at all. And yeah, it's 2.5 hours of great wrestling. Really enjoyed the show. Definitely got me pumped for Fight for the Fallen in 2 weeks, and definitely got me more excited for some of the matches happening at All Out, of course, in August. So Fyter Fest did its job. Wasn't as good as Double or Nothing, but I still had a ton of fun watching it. Definitely was a very fun show, and definitely recommend you guys going back and watching it if you guys can. So yeah, that were my thoughts on Fyter Fest. But of course, before we get into the main show, we did have the buy-in, which is of course the pre-show before the show started. We did have a 3-way tag team match. Of course, it was a qualifying for the first round bye in the AEW World Tag Team Championship Tournament, which, before I get to the match, let me say how stupid the whole first round bye thing is, because you're telling us one team has to win 2 matches to avoid having 1. Makes absolutely no fucking sense, but it is what it is. Of course, the participants in this match were SCU, Best Friends, and Private Party. This was a great exposure for Private Party. The crowd really didn't know much about them, including myself, but seeing the performances, they definitely impressed and definitely had a big part in this match as well. Right from the get-go, SCU and Best Friends kind of avoided Private Party. Even at one point, Kaz turns back to him because he was so, very little concerned with them. He didn't care. So that definitely played into it. Private Party finally got the tag in. They're very impressive. To the point where SCU and Best Friends all teamed on them to take him out on the outside. I believe Mark Quinn got DDT, which took him out. They worked on Isaiah Cassidy for a good portion of the match until he finally got the opening for a hot tag. But then, of course, his partner wasn't there, so he ended up giving the hot tag to Kaz. He was so desperate to get out of the match because he knew he couldn't continue that he tagged in an opposing team, which I thought played great into the story. Kaz got a hot tag, and that match went from a 0 to 100 real quick. The match picked up right from there. The match was going slow at that point, but right from that tag to Kaz, like I said, the match pace picked up, and it was just a straight sprint. Everyone was going absolutely crazy. There was spot after spot. It was just a whole lot of fun. It was definitely an adrenaline rush, and it definitely was a fun time. But kind of the result of the match, Best Friends ended up taking out everybody, ended up pitting Strong Zero, and I believe Isaiah Cassidy. It was someone from Private Party. I forgot which member they pinned, but they pinned someone from Private Party to win this match and to advance to All Out to, like I said, again, gain a first round bye in the tag team title tournament. So Best Friends win, and it was a really good match. I thought it was definitely a great way to kick off the show on the buy-in. So definitely was very fun. Definitely worth checking out the buy-in just for that match alone. And then, of course, afterwards, the Dark Order cut a promo, pretty much saying that you guys are our first victims. The lights go out. The Spifles of the first, or not the First Order. This is Star Wars. The Dark Order surround the ring. Lights went back out, and then lights came back on, and of course they were gone playing mind games. So I thought that was a great little touch to add mind games into that feud. So yeah, great opening match, like I said, in the buy-in. From there, we had Elite bits, pretty much comedy bits with, of course, the Elite. Then, of course, we went from there to Allie taking on Leva Bates, which was not very good at all. This match is actually the worst match of the show. Allie looked good. I think she had a strong performance, but Leva Bates, she looked absolutely terrible. And, of course, the whole librarian gimmick is so incredibly stupid. Her and Peter Avalon had, a shish off for, 5 minutes before the match, which was just a huge waste of time that no one cared for. But, yeah, garbage match. Allie got the victory when she super kicked Leva Bates off of a book. When Peter Avalon threw a book and she threw her a book and super kicked her. It was stupid. Whatever. Allie gets the win. Wasn't a good showcase match. I understand they're setting up her for Brandy and Fight for the Fallen to give her a win, to go into that match, but still, it wasn't any good. Leva Bates should not wrestle ever again. And then, of course, from there, we go to the hardcore match between Michael Nakazawa and Alex Jebailey. For comedy purposes, this was a fun match. I enjoyed it. I was entertained. If you're looking for, a match, an actual match, this was a terrible match. But if you're looking just for a laugh, this was enjoyable. They had some nice spots. Alex Jebailey held his own, I felt. He's not a wrestler. It showed. A lot of his stuff was terrible, but he was able to hold his own. He took some bumps, which was surprising, so I can't discredit him for trying. But the match, he just was not very good. Like I said, comedy stuff. I love the spot where Nakazawa poured baby oil on his chest and did a foot stomp, which slid him into a senton. I thought that was a great spot. That was very innovative, I thought. And of course, you know, they worked their way up onto the stage where the pool was at, and of course Nakazawa got thrown into the pool. Back in the ring, you know, Nakazawa pulled his thong off to try to do the medical claw, but Jebailey was able to avoid it. And then one thing led to another. Nakazawa ended up, you know, pinning Alex Jebailey off a cradle and ended up beating him. So for comedic purposes, like I said, I thought it was an entertaining, fun match. If you're looking for like a wrestling match, don't watch that. It was terrible, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I was entertained though. What can I say? From there, I'm going to the main show, of course, and that opened up with Christopher Daniels taking on CIMA. This was a very good match to open the show, I thought. Both, you know, just two veterans going at it. Some nice chain wrestling, some mat wrestling as well. They both, you know, had some great offense against one another. And I thought they complemented each other very well and had just a solid wrestling match to open the show. CIMA got the victory over Christopher Daniels following a Meteora, which I thought came off greatly, you know, showing how to really do it, unlike someone else in WWE who does it very, very shittily, who calls herself a boss, even though she's not. But yeah, did a great Meteor to take out Christopher Daniels, which made sense because CIMA is facing Kenny Omega at Fight for Fallen, so it made sense for CIMA to win here. So yeah, like I said, him and Christopher Daniels had a very solid opening match. From there, I'm going to go to a three-way match between Nyla Rose, Riho, and Yuka. This was a very good match as well. Honestly, I thought this was better than the women's four-way at Double or Nothing. I thot these women went out there and brought it and had a great match. Nyla Rose looked like a complete beast. You know, she was, you know, doing the powerlifting maneuvers. You know, Riho and Yuka end up, you know, doing crossbodies on Nyla, and she caught them both, and she didn't even flinch. So I thought that she came off great with that one. Yuka was very charismatic. You know, she was very playing off at the crowd, and I thought she did a great job in her role. And Riho almost got killed by Nyla. You know, Nyla did a knee drop off of the rope when she was tangled up on the ropes and just looked absolutely devastating. So that was a great spot there. And like I said, all three women just had a really fun match. And of course, Riho ended up getting a surprise win with the cradle on Nyla Rose to win. And yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed it. Thought it was, you know, a very good women's four-way. It definitely made Nyla Rose look like the star. They should have made it look like Double or Nothing, honestly. So it was definitely a great performance for her. Definitely made her look like a beast, and it was an enjoyable match. From there, I'm going to go to a four-way match. Of course, Hangman Adam Page taking on Jungle Boy, Jimmy Havoc, and MJF, with, of course, Kip Sabian on commentary, because the winner of this match is going to face him at Fight for the Fallen. MJF comes out because it's like a 5-minute promo. I didn't pay attention. I fast forward through it. Honestly, I didn't care to see it. And yeah, the match itself I thought was very good. You know, all four men really went out there and brought it. Jimmy Havoc kind of was just there. I feel like he did the least out of everyone. Jungle Boy was very impressive, even though he almost killed himself after like a somersault. His foot caught, you know, the rope, so I thought he almost killed himself doing that. So thankfully he didn't get hurt doing it. Adam Page and of course MJF had a lot of interaction. You know, MJF was playing a great heel in this match, just trying to get quick cradles and you know, roll-ups any chance he could, and just running out of the ring when you know, someone noticed he was in the ring, and broke up pins. I thought he played his role greatly in this match, especially against Adam Page. You know, the animosity those two had since Double or Nothing, but I thought played out greatly here. So this is all out, like I said, a very fun four-way match. You know, Hangman Page got the big but not surprising win here. You know, hit the buckshot lariat onto MJF and followed with the right to passage onto Jimmy Havoc to secure the win and to face Kip Sabian at Fight for the Fallen. So definitely was a great showcase match for all four men, and mainly just gaining more momentum for Hangman Page for his match against Chris Jericho at All Out for the AEW World Championship. So yeah, that was a, you know, very fun match there. And then of course we go to Cody taking on Darby Allin and Darby Allin's debut. This was a great match here. This really took me by surprise, because on paper I didn't really care for this match. I didn't think anything of it, but this match was great. You know, Darby Allin came off like a complete and utter star here. It's not very often guys in their debut come off like such a huge star, and that's what Darby Allin definitely did in this match against Cody. Cody just absolutely punished this guy left and right. He was just destroying him. You know, Cody at one point threw him into the post, and he went back first in the post and spun off it, bounced off the post, spun in the air, and landed on the outside. That made me jump, because I cringed from that. That looked absolutely painful. So hats off for him for taking that bump. And then, you know, Cody at one point, you know, putting him in a body bag and hit him with the disaster kick, which I thought was great. And Darby Allin, you know, even though I thought this bump was completely stupid, because for his well-being he should have done it, but he did the coffin drop onto the apron because Cody moved out of the way. He just went back first into the apron, bounced off it. It looked absolutely nasty. But Darby Allin, I've said on Twitter, this guy is this generation's Mick Foley in terms of taking bumps. I don't think there's a bump this guy won't take. He literally will kill himself in that ring just to impress everybody. So Darby Allin, like I said, came off a complete star. Match ended in a 20-minute time limit, which I thought was great because, you know, Cody hit the crossroads, and by the time he had the cover, he couldn't get the 3 in time. You know, it was a 2 count by the time the time limit ran out. And I thought it played great because that way Cody didn't beat Darby Allin, but at the same time he had Darby Allin beat. You know, but he had him beat, but he didn't beat him. So I think that played great. It was a great way to protect both men because they didn't beat Darby, but they didn't have Darby beat Cody as well. So definitely was the best finish for this match. Like I said, Darby came out like a complete and utter star here against Cody. He did a great job, and he definitely is a star in the coming future. He, like I said, definitely was a star-making performance for Darby Allin. And afterwards, out of nowhere, Shawn Spears comes out of nowhere and hits Cody right upside the head with a steel chair. And you guys, if you've seen the show, you guys have seen the GIFs and the videos of Cody's head just sliced in half. You see the chunk laying off, just brutal. And unprotected head chair shots to me are just, I don't know why anyone's doing that nowadays, but it was brutal. You know, MJF came out, it was pretty much as well as everyone close to Cody to check on him. And, you know, it sets up, you know, Shawn Spears and Cody probably at All Out. You know, me personally, I've never seen Shawn Spears as a main event talent, even in NXT when he's Ty Dillinger. I never saw, you know, any potential in this guy, honestly. And I feel like this is a big opportunity for him to prove himself. And I feel like, you know, hopefully he can deliver because, you know, obviously and I think a lot of people see him higher than he's been presented ever in his career. I personally don't see it, but like I said, this is a big opportunity for him to show that to people. So I don't mind it. Like I said, it'll probably happen at All Out, Cody and Shawn. So I like to see how that plays out. I think it'll be interesting, definitely given their history as well. So great match, and definitely a great way to set up Shawn and Cody down the line. From there, I'm going to go to the 6-man tag team match, which is the official final match on this show, because, of course, the last match was a non-sanctioned match. Of course, the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks taking on the Lucha Brothers and Laredo Kid. This was, you know, your typical PWG Bola 6-man tag match, honestly. It was just non-stop, just sprint from the get-go. One complaint I did have about this match was I felt like there was a lot of choreographed stuff in terms of, like, there was a lot of times where people were just standing there waiting for something to happen, which I'm not trying to nitpick it, but, you know, when you sit there and stand around and wait for something to happen, to me, it's a little ridiculous. It's like, come on, don't make it that obvious you're waiting for something to happen. You need to play it off, you know, as it was unexpected. And I feel like there's a lot of waiting on a lot of stuff, and there was some sloppiness as well, and I feel like it kind of took away from the match. Besides that, there were a lot of great stuff in this match as well. A lot of, you know, Matt Jackson did a great barrage of Northern Light suplexes. There's a great spot where the Young Bucks were trying to go for the melted drive on the outside, but once Nick went for the jump, it got countered into a Spanish fly onto Matt on the outside. I thought it was a great spot right there. And then, of course, there's a great spot where I believe Phoenix did a, you know, jump over Pentagon onto the outside onto, I believe, Nick or Matt, I forgot who it was, but he landed on, I think it was Nick, onto the outside, which was absolutely just insane. There was just craziness, you know, like you would just expect from this match. A lot of high flying, a lot of no selling, just absolute craziness, and it was a lot of fun. But like I said, I think them standing around a lot of the match and just waiting for stuff to happen kind of took away from it personally from me. But it was still a great match nonetheless. I definitely still enjoyed it, and came with, you know, Kenny Omega just absolutely destroying Phoenix with a V-trigger, followed by One Wing Angel to get the win. So huge win for the Elite. A very fun tag team match, like I said, pretty much, you know, PWG 6-man tag team Bola status level match. So definitely fun stuff there. Then of course we go to the final match on this card, which I love the way they played it off. You know, they had Justin Roberts announce that this match, you know, the match was officially over, that they're going to shut the lights out. But once the lights came back on, they're going to have another match, which is going to be the non-sanctioned match. So I absolutely love the way they played that off. I thought it was a great little touch. And of course, that led into the final match, which was the non-sanctioned match between Jon Moxley and Joey Janela. I thought this was an absolutely crazy match here. You know, they used the shit out of tables and barbed wire. You know, Jon Moxley brought out a barbed wire chair and used it on Janela, which Janela used against him at one point. Janela set up Moxley onto a chair, which when he went to, you know, do a senton on, Moxley moved and he just absolutely ate nothing but the chair. Tables introduced at one point. Janela hit a Russian leg I can't speak. A Russian leg sweep off of the apron on through the table on Moxley, which I thought was great. They fought into the crowd. A barbed wire board was brought into the ring, which Moxley was put through, as well as Janela. Just absolute craziness. Janela jumped off a ladder and put Moxley through 2 tables. Just a whole bunch of craziness. These 2 men literally killed each other. Thumbtacks got involved. And fucking Moxley gave him an X-Plex onto the tacks, which was just absolutely insane. And then, of course, Moxley took his boots off and was stomping his feet into the tacks. It was just absolutely crazy. And Janela was pretty much saying, fuck you can go fuck yourself. And then, of course, Moxley hits the paradox shift onto the thumbtacks for the win. So Moxley defeats Joey Janela into this unsanctioned match. Like I said, just brutal chaos. These 2 went out there and just beat the holy fuck out of each other. They literally killed each other. They were both busted open, bleeding. It was just everything you could have asked for and more. Honestly, it surpassed my expectations. I knew it'd be crazy, but it was definitely better than I thought it was. And they definitely brought it, you know, they kill each other. It was craziness, honestly. It was insane. So Moxley Janela put on an excellent main event. Of course, afterwards, Kenny Omega attacked John Moxley, took him out, and then ended up, you know, taking him out with a dirty deeds onto the stage, and that's what closed the show. Moxley sitting there laughing because, of course, he enjoyed it every second of being beat down by Omega, I guess. So yeah, that closes the show with, you know, Omega attacking Moxley, you know, poetic justice, because, of course, the last show it ended with Moxley attacking Omega, so of course they, you know, kind of flip-flop for this show to end that way. So that was the end of Fyter Fest. Like I said, I thought it was a great show. I know this review is a day late. The show happened yesterday, but I was busy yesterday, so that's why I didn't do the review then. I wasn't home to watch the show live, so that's why this video is a day late as well as review. But Fight for the Fallen is in 2 weeks, July 13th. I'm not sure if I'll be watching that live either, but I will be doing a review for that show either the next day or the day after that, because Extreme Rules is on the 14th, so I'm not sure if I'll watch it that day or the day on the following Monday. So I will be watching that, just not sure if I'll be watching it live or not, but I will definitely be watching and reviewing it on this channel for you guys. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, please feel free to leave a like below. Like I said, I thought Fyter Fest was a great show. Wasn't as good as Double or Nothing, but it definitely was a great 2.5 hour show to watch. 3.5 hours, I guess, if you watch the buy-in. But yeah, it was still a very enjoyable wrestling show, and it was very fun, and it definitely made me excited for AEW's future. So like I said, if you guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, please feel free to leave a like below. And of course, until next time, I'll see you guys there. Thank you guys for watching the video.